Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. Everything seems normal until suddenly your glass of water begins to float. Your bed slowly lifts off the floor. Your phone slips from your hand and drifts toward the ceiling. Then you realize you're floating too. Within seconds, cars, buildings, trees, and even entire oceans begin leaving Earth's surface. No explosions, no warning. Gravity has simply disappeared. But what would actually happen if Earth suddenly lost its gravity? Would humanity survive? Would the oceans escape into space? And what would happen to our planet itself?
The first second. Before we begin, let's quickly understand what gravity actually does. Gravity is the invisible force that pulls everything toward the center of Earth. It's why we can walk, why rain falls, why the oceans stay where they belong, and why Earth's atmosphere doesn't drift into space. Now imagine, at this exact moment, Earth's gravity suddenly drops to zero. Instantly, everything that isn't firmly attached to the ground becomes weightless. People, cars, animals, furniture, even the coffee sitting inside your mug. Everything begins floating. At first, it might look fun, almost like astronauts floating aboard the International Space Station. But the reality would be far more horrifying. 1 minute later, Earth spins at roughly 1,670 kilometers per hour, or over 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. Normally, gravity keeps us firmly attached to the surface while the planet rotates beneath us. But without gravity, nothing is holding us down anymore. Everything on Earth's surface would continue moving at Earth's rotational speed. People, buildings, and entire cities would be launched sideways, following the direction Earth was spinning. Massive collisions between floating debris would turn the planet into an enormous cloud of wreckage. 5 minutes later. Now comes the real disaster. Earth's atmosphere begins escaping into space. Gravity is the only reason oxygen, nitrogen, and every other gas remain wrapped around our planet. Without it, the atmosphere slowly expands outward. Within minutes, the air becomes thinner and thinner. Breathing becomes almost impossible. People begin losing consciousness from oxygen deprivation. Eventually, there is simply no air left to breathe. 10 minutes later, the oceans. Earth contains over 1.3 billion cubic kilometers of water. Every drop is held in place by gravity. Without it, the oceans no longer stay on Earth's surface. Instead, trillions of tons of water begin lifting into space. Entire seas transform into gigantic floating clouds. Everything drifts away together. From space, Earth slowly changes from the beautiful blue planet into a dry, rocky world. 30 minutes later, life on Earth begins collapsing. Plants can no longer transport water from their roots. Animals continue suffocating. Power grids fail. Most aircraft become uncontrollable. Communication systems begin shutting down. Only people inside completely sealed environments with their own oxygen supply might survive for a little longer. Several hours later, Earth has become an airless planet. The blue sky disappears. Even during daytime, the sky turns black. Sound cannot travel through a vacuum. You could scream as loudly as possible, and no one would ever hear you.
But would Earth still orbit the sun? Here's where things get interesting. If only Earth's gravity disappeared, the planet would still continue orbiting the sun because the sun's gravity would remain unchanged. However, Earth would no longer be able to hold on to its atmosphere, its oceans, or even the moon. Eventually, it would become a lifeless, barren world. Planets would leave their orbits. Stars would drift apart. Galaxies would slowly unravel. The entire structure of the universe would collapse.
What about astronauts? Many people think astronauts experience zero gravity aboard the International Space Station, but that's actually a common misconception. The ISS still experiences around 90% of Earth's gravity. Astronauts float because both they and the station are constantly falling around Earth at the same speed. This is called free fall. So the scenario we've described today is far more extreme than life aboard a space station. This isn't microgravity, it's the complete disappearance of gravity itself.
Gravity is something we rarely think about. We wake up, walk, drink water, take a deep breath, and assume it'll always be there. But every second of our lives depends on this invisible force. Without gravity, human civilization would disappear within minutes. The oceans would vanish, the atmosphere would escape, and Earth would no longer be the home we've always known. Sometimes, the most important force in the universe is the one we never even notice.